This episode brought to you by Audible! audibletrial.com/horrorvirgin for 30 days free and a book to get you started. For your book recommendation...
Our very first special guest book recommendation.
I'm so excited.
Yay. Our mystery guest returning to the pod.
Mistress of modern horrors.
Yes.
Can I call you that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Emily, what book are you recommending for us today?
I read a great book called Vox, and it's by Christina, I'm going to go with Dalker, maybe Dalcher. V-O-X, Vox.
And that means voice, right?
It does. Yeah, great book. Highly recommend reading or listening on Audible.
So guys, check it out on audibletrial.com/horrorvirgin for 30 days free and a book to get you started. This episode also brought to you by Nick B.
What should we say about Nick B this
I just
time?
like Nick B a lot.
I know, he's really cool.
I don't know what he looks like, but I think he's dreamy.
I'm pretty sure he's dreamy. He's from Australia.
Oh my God.
I mean, lots of Australian people are very dreamy. Nick B, tell us if we're making you feel uncomfortable right now.
Sexy.
And if you want your own Patreon shout out, go to the Patreon at patreon.com/horrorvirgin and sign up. You get a bunch of great shit.
Roll that beautiful theme music. Getting the eyeballs.
This is what it's like.
I don't know what the eyeballs mean, but
That was make me laugh. We literally do just talk until someone says something that makes everyone laugh. And then sometimes Jen starts the podcast. Normally she's just like, ha 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 ha. Do it again. Make me laugh again, clown. She's drunk on Power of Women in Horror Month.
Welcome to Horror Virgin, everybody.
Come on.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm Jen.
I'm your virgin Todd. Should we introduce our guests?
Yeah. So they're returning guests, but they're back together again. So we've got Emily Hopkins and Jacob Hopkins.
what is it? Hopskins.
Sorry.
Hopscotchkins.
We have the Hopsky.
The Hopsky.
Yeah, with us on the
Nice,
podcast of 13 Ghosts fame. Jacob, you on 13 Ghosts?
And The
Damn it.
Visit.
And The Visit was Emily's, where we learned about
Visit was The
sundowning and
Visit.
shitting your pants.
Poopsie.
We had fun on 13 Ghosts.
What was
I
the
mean,
one
we did.
before that again?
I did
Leslie
Leslie
Vernon.
Vernon, which was a good
fuck
movie.
yeah.
Now, I give that one credit.
Oh,
but-
Nathan, I love you.
No.
All right, can we get into it? So
Can we talk about this fucking movie?
Yeah. We got to move into it. So this movie we watched was My Bloody Valentine 3D,
Yes.
the remake.
Well, it was a really bad movie, too.
This movie was very bad. It was very, very bad.
And I'd seen this before a long time ago, but I don't remember very
Did you
much
see it in
of
the theater?
No. Okay, so I saw this as my Valentine's date with the guy I was dating.
Good call. Yeah, I noticed that
This
you
is
said
before the
was
Podfather?
dating.
Does the Podfather know about
It's
this?
actually the guy I was dating before I met Corey, the last guy I dated before I met Corey. Yeah. It did not work out, but not because we
No.
watched this terrible movie.
I feel like it's definitely because of this movie.
Yeah.
That is one thing I love about Corey is he'll let me celebrate things like this with horror movies. Like
I noticed he
Valentine's
wasn't
Day.
here to watch it with you, though.
He wasn't,
Smart
no.
man.
Yeah, he is a smart man.
Smart man.
And this is a remake from 1981.
Yeah, it came out in 1981. I watched the trailer for this for Patreon, and I watched the 1981 by mistake. And then I texted you, and I was like, wait, which one are we doing? Because I thought there was multiple ones. The 1981 trailer looks worse than this.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it looks real bad. Although I haven't seen it. I just saw the trailer, and 80s trailers were notoriously bad.
I can almost forgive the 80s though, because it's
Right,
I don't
'cause they
know,
didn't
it's
know
kinda
any
like the
better.
territory.
Yeah.
But like the writing on this,
What's
How
spectacular?
dare you talk bad about Todd Farmer? You saw his ass in this movie.
He fucking waxed for this role.
Oh, he did.
You could tell.
Yeah, he got deep in the crack. Can we talk about this fucking movie?
I know. I just want us to stop talking about that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
so
hateful. Very hateful. Are you body shaming Todd Farmer?
I am. It's Women in Horror
He
Month. I'm
wrote
gonna say whatever the
Jason
fuck I want.
X.
He did write
yeah.
Jason X.
He
I
wrote
haven't seen
Jason
that.
X, Jen.
He's a fucking genius.
Yeah. All right, can we talk about this fucking movie?
Yeah. Okay. So let's start with
At the
the
beginning.
first of 3 different openings to this movie. Because
The credits are insane. I'm
They
sorry.
really
it's
are.
literally
Go ahead,
like
Jen.
a college film project. Like we want you to do
Watch
this
your
and then
mouth.
just like doing
Yeah.
it.
And naturally, if you were in college, you would write and film what is a porn that is also sort of a horror movie.
because you're just so deep in both of those worlds, you're not quite
Oh,
sure
yeah.
where one ends and one begins.
Deep.
Team guy. Yeah.
The wise have it.
The white chromosome.
The wise.
The
The
wise.
wise. The
I
wise
love
have
it.
it.
The Y chromies. the chromie homies.
Whoa.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I like
I
Chromie
will take
homies.
Chromie homie all day.
Like, I don't want to give her
the
credit.
T-Rex is a
Baby.
I don't want to give her credit, but that was really good.
Yeah, you guys can have the point for that, but
Yeah.
we're keeping the name.
Yeah, I'm going to let you have that one. That was nice. Chromie homies.
That is our boy band name.
Anyways, let's get back to these balling ass credits with the weird levels of popping from the newspaper articles.
Yeah,
It honestly looks like a very bad version of like an Avengers opening credit scene because in the Avengers it's like comic books. With this one's it's like newspaper, but Avengers aren't trying to do like shitty 3D at you. Whereas this movie is, and it just looks bad because it was 2009.
An assault.
Yeah, and this is the same year that Avatar came out. So 3D technology hit its peak in 2009.
But this is all of the people that couldn't get hired to work on Avatar.
Yeah, I will 100% agree with that.
Yeah, so we learned through a series of newspapers that open right in your face.
I didn't learn shit from it. But.
I know. So, okay, I think in 1981, I'm thinking they're telling the story of the old movie, some killer miner or something.
They're trying to do that town that dreaded sundown bullshit, right?
Yeah,
where it's a continuation of the remake, but it's like a sequel.
Yeah, and I think this is technically a reboot.
Yeah, a requel.
Just from seeing the trailer, it looked exactly like this movie.
Yeah.
Like the plot would be exactly this movie.
I think all you need to know, there's a pickaxe killer, and it's on Valentine's Day.
Exactly.
And that should be all the plot of this movie is, but there's like 9,000 other things that happen in this plot.
Halfway through this, I was reading the Wikipedia page because I had no idea what was going on.
Who's that guy? Yeah.
I was like, who's that lady?
Who's that lady?
Pickaxe lady. All right, sorry. Can we move on?
Yes, please. Okay, so then that was the first opening, and then we get trouble in the mine, and there's some kind of explosion, and that's the second open.
But this is where we meet Supernatural.
Supernatural is arguing with some miner man.
Some other miner, but that miner, not Supernatural, lets you know through dialogue that he is the owner's son.
He's normal natural.
Fucking dialogue.
So Supernatural's arguing with the miner, the mine explodes, and then it cuts to the hospital.
Yes,
and
where the
a bunch of people in the hospital, right?
He's suspiciously not exploded. He's in a hospital bed.
But there are a lot of other people in the hospital, too.
Yeah, it's like a normal hospital.
Yeah.
Unlike a Happy Death Day hospital where no lights are on.
All the lights are on, right?
There's a normal amount of hospital workers there.
But just like Happy Death Day, there's also a serial killer in that hospital.
That's true. And a nurse who's oblivious to everything.
This is where the nurse walks in and looks right at the bag that's hanging from the thing, right?
Yes.
And then doesn't notice that the person who was in the bed is no longer
attached
there.
to the bag.
Right.
Yeah.
But then he's sitting on top of the other patient that he already killed.
That she would have had
right
to
next
walk
to her.
by.
Yes.
Listen, nurses, we're not saying your job is easy. We're just saying we don't think you're as blind as this movie suggests that you are. We are on your side,
Exactly.
nurses.
Team nurse.
Team nurse. So we see the murderer behind the nurse, right? And then
in the open.
Yeah.
Like just I want to be very clear.
just sitting
In the
curtains
open.
weren't
He's not even
drawn.
hiding.
No,
they
just
were-
sit.
No, he wasn't behind the curtain like a sheriff.
That joke comes in later.
Remember that joke in about an hour. You'll laugh your ass off. And then does it cut? And then that's when you see the Bloody Valentine? And then so it's the title card. So it goes right to the title card, My Bloody Valentine. And I was like, holy shit, the credits are still going?
Right.
Yeah.
And then old man sheriff walks in with even older man sheriff.
So old man sheriff
Biff
and even
the other
older
guy.
man deputy. Yeah.
Biff and Biff's dad.
Biff and Biff's dead. That's right.
But dude, if the sheriff is old, the deputy sheriff is like 70 years older than the sheriff.
Now hold on, because I don't think the sheriff is Biff, because old man
Biff is the rich guy. You're right.
Do you know who the actor that plays the sheriff is?
No.
He's the guy from. He's the main guy from Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Tom Atkins. It doesn't have Michael.
Give a fuck.
Let's call him Mustache and Super Old.
Mustache and super old. I like
you
it.
go.
Did
Oh,
the Super Old have a
mustache, Super Old.
mustache too?
We have settled on nicknames.
confused.
So,
Super old and super mustache and supernatural. Oh,
so we cut him from the title card to
God.
super old sheriff,
God, it's still
super old sheriff walking
Even
around the
older
hospital.
I
Right?
can't believe he's so old.
He is really old.
So they walk in and we see body parts everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy
Dude sawed in half.
A dude sawed in half. How did he get sawed in half?
I mean, they do have bone saws in hospitals, but the killer did not have one. He
No.
just had a pickaxe.
Maybe
Did not
this,
look like a bone saw operator.
maybe this hospital exists in the Dr. Giggles universe.
This motherfucker killed like 500 people in this hospital.
And then drags
not
them in the
one person-
hallway.
All
Yeah.
apart.
Well, he had to do some arts and crafts. So.
How much time did he really have?
I mean, didn't
At
clearly.
least 2 days. to do all of this and position them, he had at least 48 hours
He
before
had to
anybody
start
called
on
the cops.
12th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my birthday, actually.
Oh. Well, happy birthday, Todd.
Me and Lincoln. After the hospital, we go to the party at the mine.
This is when we learn that the acting is going to be terrible and that it's going to be
That's
stupid.
when you learned the acting was going to be
That's a good
terrible.
point. I knew well before this.
I was giving it the benefit of the doubt, you know? I was just mesmerized by the 3D.
Oh
All
my
the stuff
God.
coming right at me. All right, so old sheriff looks through the heart and says, "Happy Valentine's Day." And then we cut to the second title card. I don't think that's what he says, but what did he say?
I'm getting too old for this shit.
I think he did say that.
I've been too old for this shit for a long time.
Well, that was what the deputy said because he's even older.
Yeah.
No, he said, "Damn, I picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue." And that's not what he said, but it's almost what he said.
Are we just saying shit that we think he should said?
Yeah.
I mean,
all of that would have been better writing.
Guys,
I mean, that's true.
Experience.
we may not have watched this movie.
we may have put
Does
it on
anybody
mute
know what he
and
actually
just watch
said?
the visuals.
We should just Mad Lib the script for this movie.
I feel like that's what Todd Farmer did, the writer of
He did.
Jason X. Sorry.
Hey, isn't your middle name Jason?
Actually, it is.
Are you Todd Jason?
Yeah, and I briefly
Todd
did think
Jason
about
X.
I briefly did think about going by TJ in high school, and I literally
TJ.
thought to myself, I'm not cool enough to pull it off. That's a conversation that
man.
pre-freshman Todd had with himself summer before 8th grade.
Was this still in your freestyle rapping phase?
No, I'm not the kid from The Visit. Although I was a lot like him, but I'm not that kid.
DJ Swizzlestick.
My rhymes are deep. Party at the mine, yo.
Jesus Christ, it took forever to get here.
Here we are.
And it is a shitty party, let me
It
tell
really
you.
is, because
There's
it's
like
at a
5 people there.
mine.
When you were in high school, when you were like, hey, let's go party somewhere, were you like, let's go somewhere where people died?
I mean, in high school, it'd have been like, are we playing Magic the Gathering?
Oh, wow.
And-
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's-
Anyway, so
Our nerds
they're
are
at
cool,
they're
though.
at the mine and they're
Yeah.
partying? Question mark? They're like hanging out
There's
outside.
no alcohol
No,
visible.
one guy rolls up with a 6-pack and one in hand. You're
well,
not
and
really
Supernatural has beer in the truck.
drinking. Right.
Right. But I mean,
He
it's
does?
not like
He goes back for it.
party.
Oh, is
There's
that
no
how he
cool
doesn't get
music.
behind?
There's no cool looking people.
But
No.
this is where we meet.
And they're at a fucking mine.
Pink strips in your hair, not cool.
Well, this is
No.
where we meet Pink Strips in her hair.
Yeah.
We meet Alex?
Axel. He's Jack from Dawson's Creek.
I don't know what that
Let's
is.
call them
Never
eyebrows
watched.
because those things are heavily manicured.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, listen, don't be afraid to manscape.
I mean, a little bit, but he went hardcore.
He's got a spoolie going.
What does he have?
That's what she
A
brush her
spoon?
eyebrows with. A
You
spoon-
brush your eyebrows with a spoon?
a spoolie.
Because it's dull, you twit. It'll,
It'll hurt more.
Oh shit! Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves
yeah.
reference up in here. Sign me up for this Kevin Costner bullshit. Are we gonna have a
Costner.
spin-off Kevin Costner podcast? Because
Hey,
I'm there.
I'm down for it, man.
Sign me. The
Welcome
fuck
back
up.
to Dances with Movies. The Kevin Costner podcast. So Supernatural. Yo, Supernatural
Whoa.
gets there with his girlfriend, whatever her name is, and she
Sarah.
and they start to go down in the mine with Axel and his girlfriend at the time, full frontal. But Supernatural realizes he left the beer in the truck, so he goes back to the truck. But all three of them, Supernatural's girlfriend, full frontal, and Axel, go into the mine. This is where the three of them see all the dead party goers, and they
Never
go and
heard a
hide.
scream or any.
Right? No,
No.
it was very quiet, not a scream to be heard.
I feel like the mine absorbed all the sound.
Yeah, because that's what mines do. They don't channel sound out. But yeah, it's definitely like a cushion and it sucks it up. It's very soundproof.
Science.
A lot of albums get recorded in mine shafts.
They do,
Little known
yeah.
fact. Anyway,
So what happens next?
Fucking-
TJ Todd Swizzle. tick, I'm down in a mine and I lost
Yeah,
it.
keep going.
I thought you were gonna have something.
me
First.
too. I did too. I was waiting for it to go. I mean, I've heard her lay down some sick ass beats.
Oh yeah, I need the Doogie Howser theme song underneath me.
Anyway, so this is where we see the miner for the first time. The mine
Yes.
killer. I forget his name. Walter.
Now hold on.
Walter. What's it?
Warden.
Harry Warden.
Harry Warden.
Harry Warden. So
Harry
we see him for the
Balls.
first
Harry
time.
Balls, not a porn.
And guys, we don't see Supernatural.
Because he went to get the beer.
I don't know if you guys can see that, considering it's a podcast, but there are air quotes happening
yeah.
all over the place.
Went to get the beer.
Winky blinky.
You know who else we don't see? Those guys, because they stand up against a wall.
And then a fourth party goer comes out.
Yeah.
No one who we don't know his
Nerdy
name. It's just
nerd.
some random guy about to die. And
He tries to scare the girlfriend.
What?
Does he? I think he just is rolling up from like 20 levels deep. I don't know what the fuck
I
he's
don't
doing
think he's
on
trying
there.
to scare anybody.
He's got a mask on, I think, and he steps
No,
out
no,
because
no,
that's the
no.
false scare.
What?
No, not
Jen
the friend.
watched a
What
different
movie did
movie
you
than
watch,
us.
Jen?
Because he's the nerd that clotheslines himself.
He gets killed. Then a girl comes up with a shovel.
Yeah.
And the killer takes it away from her and stabs her in the face with it.
Yeah, he's about to pickaxe Jack, and then suddenly this girl we've never seen before shows up and gets shoveled to the face, and that's
Right.
how Jack gets away.
Which would have been a cool kill, but we don't really get to see it.
Right.
I have a question. Do we ever see Supernatural during the scene?
I don't think
We do
so.
see Supernatural and Warden at the same time in this time period.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Because
We do.
they're in the mine together at one
Right.
point. But
Yeah.
he's just late getting there
And
because
this
he had to
is
go back and get the
actually
beer.
Warden because he's just escaped
Yes.
from the hospital.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this when the old and even older cops show up and shoot him?
No.
They do. Yeah, it's somewhat they do.
Well, okay, but Supernatural shows up, like he's running into the mine while they're running out of it. The three of them are running out of it. So they kind of meet up then.
And I thought
then,
for a minute he was trying to be a decoy so they could get away or something.
me too, but no, they just bone out and leave him.
I know. That's
And
when they
then
break up.
The miner throws the pickaxe at the girls in the car, and she
right.
puts her
Yeah.
face as
Right
close to the
there.
windshield as possible so we can get 3D'd in the eyeball.
And then old cop and even older cop have shot
they show
Warden
up and
Man.
shoot him.
And then the mine collapses and he runs away. And they suddenly don't have good aim anymore and they're shooting all over the mine.
Right.
Exactly.
And so then he gets away. And then what is it?
Scene.
Insane.
And then it jumps ahead 10 years.
yes.
And this is where we find
There
out
it
that
is.
Mr. Rose, Axel, is now the sheriff, or is he?
So we're 10 years later in the town.
Well, we're in the diner, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is where we meet the new cast of characters, which is pretty much the same, except Supernatural's not there.
Yeah.
Supernatural's girlfriend is now married to Axel, or Mr. Foley.
Or
who
Jack
was,
from
who was the
Dawson's Creek.
sheriff. No one's seen Dawson's Creek. And then
Shots fired.
Yeah, for real.
we meet Axel's girlfriend. I know he's married, but he also has a side piece who is also in the diner.
And we
And
meet.
Biff is trying to get a piece of some
yes.
of that.
I don't know
man.
that he doesn't even look like Biff at
He
all.
looks like
He
Biff.
had some super.
He might
creepy-
look like
Biff.
old Biff.
Yeah, old Biff. Of course,
Okay,
old Biff. Yeah.
old Biff all
Old
allowed.
Biff. Yeah. Biff's dad.
But he doesn't look like 1985 Biff.
No.
He looks
Yeah.
like 2015 Biff.
The way his face sits, he always looks like he's trying to get a piece of whatever girl is
Oh my
around him.
God, you're such a hater.
Well, when you
God.
wear your little
Biff.
jacket on your elbows
Oh,
because you're
right.
keeping your
Yeah.
forearms warm.
Ooh.
I do want to
Yeah.
say this, Jacob.
Emily just said she's asking for it. That's
Sometimes
a
when I-
rough stance on Women in Horror Month.
But she is behaving kind of provocatively, and she dresses provocatively. And I'm not saying she deserves to get killed because
No.
of that.
That's
No,
what
but
y'all are
she's
saying. I think that's
Be
what y'all
hit
are
on by
saying.
old men.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean,
God.
she is definitely begging to get it.
And
She
in this
is,
type of
but
movie, you're
not from old men.
contrasting her to the wife who's dressed just normally
Like
covered
a
up.
single,
Yeah.
well, not a single mom, but like, she's dressed like a wife.
Gonna be a single
I
mom
see.
soon.
So we're
maybe.
trying to put women in a box. How dare you guys?
All right, so these motherfuckers are hanging out in the cafe.
So then we cut to Axel in the cheating shack with the girl from.
Yeah,
This
so
is a very fast transition.
It is.
She covers her shoulders again and gives him a look and walks out. And then he stands up and goes, "Oh, oh, oh, oh." And then we cut right to
I
the
wish you
sex
could see
shack.
that.
By the way, when he stood up, he was also juggling balls, and he was on a ball himself and trying to roll it out the door.
And went straight to the sex shack.
It would have been a better movie.
And then she was juggling the ball.
But literally, zing!
got a lady.
But I'll say this transition happens so fast, like we didn't even have time to be like, oh, I bet they're having, and it cuts to them having sex.
Right.
Well, I guess it was them finishing, like they were
Yeah,
done
they were,
having
like,
sex.
putting-
He was putting his shirt back on,
Yeah.
and she was like, oh, I
The
bought you this.
transition wasn't the only thing that
The
was
sexes
fast.
had happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, he finishes so fast that he forgets to pull out because someone's pregnant now.
Pregnant. And she probably got pregnant just that fast.
She did.
Based on how the movie rolls.
She's way more into him than he is to her because she
Well,
says,
yeah,
"I'm
she's the side
pregnant."
piece.
He also says, "I didn't get you anything for Valentine's Day."
Yeah, because
Why
she's the
would
side
you?
piece.
exactly.
But she
You
does
knew.
give him chocolates.
Yeah.
And in the chocolates, I think it's actually in the card that says, be mine forever.
Yeah, it says,
Yeah.
"Hey, first and last name and
Axel.
home address.
Yeah.
Be my Valentine. My first and last name and
Megan?
home address."
Megan?
And social.
Megan, yeah.
Why- She had a name?
She did.
Megan.
Mhm, Megan. The actress's name is Megan too. Mhm.
Yeah, because
Creative.
it's too hard to write other names.
How dare you besmirch the greatness that is Todd Farmer?
Darn farmer.
This man wrote Jason X. I think it comes out that it was his dad's place, and ever since his dad died, it's just been sort of abandoned.
Yeah.
Everybody's dad is dead.
Yes.
I think because they all died in the mines.
Fair.
All right, so the only thing we really learn in that scene where he's banging the waitress, or not the waitress, where he's banging the
Stock
side
girl.
chick.
Yeah.
The stock girl,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, she works at the
Megan. Her
grocery.
name is Megan, Jen.
Oh, pardon me.
The only thing we really learned from that scene is that they're, of course, having sex, the sheriff
Mm-hmm.
and Megan, that she's pregnant, and that is his dad's old place.
Yes. And
Everything else doesn't matter.
There's the Valentine.
The Valentine is probably
Right.
the only important
Yes.
part.
Because that comes back in later.
Yes, in a very convoluted plot thread.
Yeah, Supernatural comes back to town, jacketed profusely, because he's going to sell the mine that he just inherited.
And old Biff just baller pushes his dad Ashes right
Are
up
we
to
already
him.
at that scene?
I think so.
I think so.
In this time period, we've got so Supernatural gets back in town and people start dying.
Yes,
Which
because
is the motel scene.
Supernaturals go into the
The
hotel.
director's Opus Max. What's that phrase?
Opus Magnum.
Penis.
There it is.
Penis.
The word
Penis is the word I was looking for. I just don't know why I couldn't think of that.
Yeah. So Supernatural comes back to town, And he goes to the motel. Mm-hmm. He needs a place
to
stay.
And he hears some sex in a room.
Oh, yeah. He hears some sex in a room.
We see some sex in the room.
We see the sex in the room.
It's very awkward sex. I don't know if they've actually seen sex before.
It's like shoes still on.
Yeah, I'm going to go on the record stating that I think Todd Farmer has never had sex before because he wrote this movie, and I think he probably wrote this movie when he was 9, and he had just heard of what the concept of sex was, right?
I feel like he's seen at least one porno and was like, that's how it works.
Yep. And that's how movies work, too.
And all chicks want to get up top, power ride me while they look at the mirror on the ceiling.
And say how pretty they are.
Awkwardly grind on that shit like she's trying to break something off.
Yeah.
I mean, it was weird.
Yeah, she's just going
She was
crazy.
feeling herself, though. She was looking up at that mirror and going, I look fucking
she did
hot.
say she was hot, yeah.
She's confident. You know, she knows what she wants and she's getting
I
it.
will say this, that woman is naked for the rest of her life.
She is.
From this point on, she is wearing nothing but heels.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that she was the one who was pushing for the full frontal, downstairs everything. I think she was proud.
She was
going merkinless.
Suspect is merkinless.
APB out on a merkinless lady wearing heels.
Description.
They weren't even really heels. They were like that weird, what do you call them? The platforms, yeah.
And she was running around. Okay.
Well, those are easier to run in.
All right, so Todd Farmer, the writer of this movie, who has just been ridden raw by Full Frontal, he gets up and like gets the camcorder he hid under his jacket. Only one jacket, guys. Oh. And he like
he's not a monster.
Yeah, he's not an idiot.
Except
he knows how to wear a
under
jacket.
his jacket, we reveal that he kind of is because he was secretly taping her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And that he doesn't wear underwear when he's wearing jeans. He is ultimately the one that's going to pay for that.
He's only hurting himself, guys.
Exactly.
We can move past it.
Right.
So
It's okay.
he picks up the camera and starts to leave, and she's like, "Did you videotape that?" He's like, "Yeah, I videotaped that because I'm a scumbag who wrote this movie and Jason X."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Well, give me the tape," and he's like, "Whatever, whore." He's like, "I'm not a whore," and he pulls out money and goes, "You are now," and throws it at her, and then leaves.
Yeah.
And she thinks to herself,
Did we just break up?
she thinks to herself, "I'm going to grab my gun," and she grabs her gun and chases after him without putting clothes on.
I know. Yeah, she's that mad, and I think she just likes not having clothes on.
I do.
Which it's a choice.
Definitely.
Go for it. You know?
I actually do have a fun fact for this, Jen. It's sorry to like scoop you on this one, but I did talk to Todd, the writer of this movie. He also wrote
I thought you were talking to
Messengers.
yourself. Like,
I did.
I have
referred to
consulted
myself as a person.
Hey, regular Todd.
I did talk to Todd Farmer, the writer of this movie, The Messengers, and The Messengers 2. And he did let me know that they begged her to put clothes on during this scene, but she refused.
Look, there's a lot more range of motion without the clothes on.
I get it.
She's that much faster.
I get it. I will say this, though, because I did watch this movie trailer for Patreon. That scene where she's running away from the killer in the parking lot is in the trailer, and she has underwear on.
Really?
She's got like a red number
So she
on.
filmed it with underwear, and then she made them go back and film the whole thing without any
I
clothes.
do want to say, we're joking. I'm sure she didn't make them go back and do it naked. Yeah, I'm sure it was Todd Farmer, the writer of Drive
Somebody
Angry,
with MS
who made
Paint
them do this.
Right.
was just painting it on. Just
And
like
there is
painstakingly.
nothing wrong with anybody being naked.
So she follows Todd Farmer, the trucker / writer of Heavenly
I
Sword.
mean, he's probably a real trucker. I
God.
feel like that's actually his real truck.
Yeah, he
Probably.
dictates all these movies to
Dude,
himself
for
while
sure.
on the
Oh my
road.
gosh. I hope
Breaker
that's
Breaker
true.
19, Supernatural wears more jackets because he's extra cold.
Super cold, if you will.
Damn it! That was the joke, Jay. You found it. Well done. All right. So she chases Todd, the trucker, out to the parking lot and then holds the gun on him like, "Give me the tape, give me the tape." Todd goes, "That gun's not loaded." So she throws it at him and hits him in the face.
Yeah.
That's a good throw.
It was
And
a good
then
throw.
he gets pickaxed in the face because we turn around and, oh my God, the trucker thing in the trucker cab.
Who would have
The
known?
thing in the trucker cab.
The killer is in the
Also
trucker
known-
cab.
Yeah.
You're not the
Pickaxes him.
person to say the thing in the trucker cab.
The thing in the
I
trucker
promise you
cab,
that much.
yeah.
As Todd dies, he drops the camera and it, like you see the camera angle and you see the naked lady run off and then you see the miner follow after her. I do want to say this. This is the last you see of Todd Farmer, the writer of this movie.
Thank
and
God.
I did mention all of his credits.
Oh, you did?
Every movie he wrote, I mentioned up to this point, nailed it.
Todd pulled
Got
up a
it.
Wikipedia
Very,
page.
very happy with myself.
That's his
right
whole
now.
library right there.
I'm not sure how many more there are going to be either.
Anyway, so we're still at the motel.
We are, and she's running around. She goes into the main office of the hotel and hides
Guys,
under
can
the
we talk
bed,
about
I
this real
think.
quick?
Can we talk about
Well,
it?
she's got to get under the bed first.
Yeah, so she gets under the
Now you can
bed,
talk about it.
gets a bunch of crabs
No,
from
we
the carpet.
did. We've already missed.
We missed it.
Let's just a quick backtrack. While Supernatural rolls up to the motel, we are surprised with the most shocking part of this whole movie.
It is the most shocking part.
I think we all audibly screamed when we saw it.
It was a cute pug. I'll say that.
It wasn't a pug. It was a Frenchie bulldog.
Oh, excuse me. The
Yeah.
Frenchie.
Do
yeah.
all dogs look the same to
Oh
you?
my
Tom?
God, you dog racist.
Yeah, so the owner of the hotel is a little person. And while she's hiding
Character
under
is
the bed.
Irene, which definitely doesn't go
Mercantless.
very well with full
It doesn't.
frontal.
It's ironic.
Irene.
It's ironic.
Ironic.
Irene.
Isn't
Don't
it
you
ironic?
think?
It's like
Get murdered.
under a bed when you're naked. It's like
All right, so-
10,000 pants.
When all you need is a shirt.
No, she needed pants
It's hiding
too.
behind a bed and then getting pickaxed in the chest.
And getting pickaxe in the head.
I think she gets
It
pickaxed.
rhymed. It rhymed better.
We'll
All
work
right.
it out in post-production.
So anyway, Stripper Boots runs back into the hotel.
Stripper platforms.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Stripper platforms, runs back into the hotel, hides under the bed that's just in the main lobby.
And it's a
No,
regular
it's
sized
the
bed.
owners.
That
So
one.
it's the owner of the hotel's room that
The most sensible place to hide, under the
Right,
bed.
under the bed. So
No
she's-
villain has ever found anyone under the bed
No.
no
in
one
the
ever
history
looks
of
there.
life.
I mean, you become invisible.
Why would you look there?
She almost gets away with it.
She does.
So the
I would have
guy,
got away with it too when you meddling kids.
the minor murderer comes in, searches the room,
Minor?
not there, right? That you see shoe cam, actual shoes from her point of view, looking out at the minor's shoes, right? And as it turns to look towards the bed, that's when the that's when the hotel owner comes in.
the little shop owner.
Little shop of horrors.
Little shop owner. Shoppy shop.
Anyway, if you've ever seen a little person get murdered by a pickaxe, you're prepared for
You're
this.
about
I was
to.
not prepared for this.
Strange that you wouldn't be prepared for
I
this.
can't imagine.
Oh man, it was
know.
rough. Because he lifts her to the ceiling.
Yeah.
You see her little ankles dangling. It's so. Oh man, I hated it so much.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice. Hey, it could.
Anyway, so at that point, the girl under the bed starts to make noise like, oh my God, or whatever. And so he rips the bed off. I guess the girl stands up with the bed, but she's still got this
She's got-
mesh stuff.
It's
It's the bottom part of the bed. It's the
yeah.
bed frame.
It's like
it's
the
the bed
wire
frame.
bed
Okay.
frame.
Old
Yeah.
school bed frame.
And
Yeah.
she gets pickaxed through the frame.
Well, she puts it up against the wall like it's going to be impenetrable. He'll
Right.
never get through
These
this.
giant squares will never fit a
Right.
pickaxe.
Now
and
look,
he'll never be able to pull it off of me.
last time she escaped from this guy, she did it by standing in an invisibility corner. So
That is
maybe
true. That
she
is
just
true.
thinks that this
but
will
that was
work
10
too.
years ago. He's learned some tricks.
He has.
changed since then.
Anyway, so you see the pickaxe come down, blood on the wall. That's
Yeah.
it. That's the end of that scene, right?
Right.
Thank God.
And then we see her later when the cops are investigating, and she's in one of the heart-shaped tubs, and she's all cut open. We see
Oh,
Looking
and this is
sexy.
the first time we see the split down the chest heart
Right.
out of her.
Hell yeah.
And that happens a few times. But
Yeah,
this- I
we've
think it's
seen
first
it in
time
the
I see
hospital before too.
Oh, you're right.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Not a lot of creativity with this guy.
No.
How dare you besmirch Todd Farmer, the writer of Messengers and Messengers 2?
And Jason X.
I've never heard of Todd Farmer until this, and now I know all of his
And
movies,
You don't want to hear about him again.
of which there are 8.
So yeah, we get an investigation at that point where homeboy Axelrod or whatever his name is watching that tape over and over
He's-
for quote unquote
Of his
research.
ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, and then one of his deputies brings in this heart,
Oh, a heart-shaped
brings in
box.
like a candy
Oh,
heart
Nirvana
shop.
song, eh?
Yeah.
And
But I don't know how
never
it goes.
opened it or realized there was blood on the box.
Yeah, she's got blood
She was a
dripping
little
down her hands as
slow.
she
was a little special. Budget Pam from The Office here.
She does look a
Budget
lot
Pam.
like Pam from The Office.
I
If Pam from The
hard
Office got
disagree.
stung by a bee, like you said.
Yeah.
She looks maybe like Pam's younger sister if she got stung by a bee.
Or as Todd said, she's squirreling away nuts for winter and then also got stung
But
by
I
a bee.
do want to point out that she's not fat. Like
No.
she just has a rounder face.
She just
she's
has
not
chunky
fat.
cheeks.
Yeah, listen.
It's all the nuts.
It is all the nuts in her mouth.
Not
I don't
in
think
her
she
mouth.
has a single line in this movie, does she?
She has a
No, she does.
Oh, does she?
When she
Yeah.
goes to hunt
She's like,
down
here's
the
the
babysitter.
box, and
Yeah.
then
And we
walks
don't. We
away.
actually don't know if she died. Well, we'll get to it. Okay, so she brings the heart-shaped box, and we open it up, and we find an actual heart inside it, and I think it is girlfriend heart, naked full frontal girlfriend heart.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Kurt Cobain's
Yeah.
sadness.
Oh, we could be the sexy X's.
We could
Oh,
be sexy
shit.
X's.
Yes,
We
I
have
love the
landed on
sexy
the
X's.
team.
That's amazing.
Well, we're gonna destroy you.
I'm fine with
Mad
that.
right now.
Can we talk about this movie?
Yeah, can we talk about this fucking movie?
Anyways, he's
Anyways,
investigating. He's
okay,
got this
he's
fucking heart in a box
investigating.
that no one was surprised to find. It's
Exactly.
just dripping in blood.
Except for all of the law enforcement in this town who didn't see it coming at all.
Speaking of law enforcement, can we talk that there's only one capable guy and it's the black guy and no one will listen to what the fuck he's got to say?
He should
Martin's
be.
the man.
Yeah, he should be the sheriff.
So anyway, so they get the camcorder footage from the motel, and then Axel takes the footage back to his house and is totally not jerking off while watching it.
He's
Had
going
all
back
those
and
plastic
forth.
walls up.
Yeah,
too.
what is
Yes.
the plastic going on in the house?
There had to have been some other scene that got cut, like they're renovating their house or something. Like something has to be happening. 'Cause
I don't think
otherwise
so.
that's
I think that's
weird.
just a weird decision.
Isn't that weird?
He full on Dexter's this house.
He really does.
does.
Yes. Anyway, so his wife comes in and he's watching his former ex fuck
Into the
Todd
spank
Farmer.
den
Yeah.
unannounced.
Yeah.
What is wrong with her?
Rude.
Fucking knock or give a code word or woohoo, something.
How do you knock on a sheet though?
you rattle that shit a little bit. You just grab it and rattle real hard.
So yeah, he's watching and he's going back and forth for this 10-second loop, not watching the sex going on. He's watching
Definitely
the
not.
window where
Sure.
yeah, Winky Blinky, where Supernatural.
I
is
think he's
walking
just
back and
happy
forth.
he happened to pause on the moment. See,
Exactly.
Wife,
This is why.
This is why I'm watching this.
I'm investigating.
It's a clue. I swear to God. It's a clue.
Hold on. Hey, honey, can you hand me my sock?
I just did laundry, honey.
Here you go. It's folded.
This one's
That
real
boomerang
sticky.
at him.
Oh. Before that happens, we have Supernatural and girlfriend reunite in the grocery store.
And it
Reunited
feels
and
so
it-
good.
Reunited, but it's kind of
It was a weird scene. I felt like that was totally
It is.
unnecessary.
And that
Yeah.
was the only weird scene?
No, I mean, that was just a weird scene in a sea of weird scenes.
Yes.
Well, he did have how many jackets at this point?
2.
Two. And it was like 75 degrees outside.
It
He's
was.
cold.
That's how you know he's distant, aloof, and from
That's
out of
also
town.
how you know something's wrong with him.
I also think he wears that on Supernatural.
Probably.
Maybe that's just his
He
acting
probably
sweatshirt.
borrowed it.
I
from that
honestly
set.
don't know if you asked him to this day if he did this movie, he'd probably say no.
Right.
He was like, I was filming for Supernatural, and they just put it in a movie.
Took some scenes.
Supernatural did have a My Bloody Valentine episode.
Oh my
Inception.
I know. Oh, this is the old man brawl in the bar.
Oh shit, we're already there, huh? Thank God.
Yes. This is the next thing that happens. He goes into a bar and
He being Supernatural.
yeah,
My
Supernatural.
boy
goes-
Blue comes out of nowhere with
Oh,
a fucking
dude,
right
what's my
cross.
boy Blue?
Yeah, I was just waiting for one guy to go, that's my boy Blue.
But this dude was old 10 years ago in the first mine scene.
Oh, yeah.
And he's 10 years older now, and he hauls off and decks
Motherfucking
Supernatural.
Centrum was it silver? Think
Yeah.
that shit does wonders for you.
Yeah, man.
and they're
He was
mad
definitely
at him.
taking his men's daily vitamins.
Pow! It's got some really fucking good Foley effects in this thing
But you
too.
know, at this point, we still didn't really understand like who was what, and who was mad and why.
Why is
and-
everybody
it
mad
was
at
still
him?
not super duper.
I mean,
clear.
I hated Supernatural just because he wore 5 jackets at once,
And
but
can't
I
really
didn't
act
know
very
why
well.
the town hated him.
right. It was
because he
not
thought he
clear.
was Batman. Did y'all hear the way he fucking talked? It was like he was doing his best Christian Bale impression. I know
Yeah.
the Batman.
Well, and so they hate him because
I'm the
they
minor
think he's
man.
the killer,
I'm
and
the
he
killer.
is the killer.
I'm the
So-
killer. You're the killer.
I mean,
Oh.
yeah. Why is everybody mad at me?
I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, and then now retired but still old cop
My
comes
boy
and
Blue.
saves the day. Yeah.
Well, no, not Blue. Blue's the one that hit him.
Oh,
It's
Blue's
the
the
old
one that
retired
hit him.
cop.
Blue hits him and then immediately dies from a
Oh
heart
yeah,
attack.
mustache. Mustache. Yeah, I got it. He real fucking retired.
But anyway, former Sheriff Mustache Cop comes over and goes, "Can't you see that you two are in love?" And then has a stroke.
And it is Valentine's Day.
I know. Anyway, so the old sheriff like breaks up the fight and tells him to get out. I saved your life for a second time.
I won't do it for a third
I mean, Johnny
time.
Kickass was in there too because he comes up a little bit later.
Oh, yeah.
he punches the fuck out of the mirror, and then you get the the cool scene from the other side of the mirror.
Yeah,
Get
that
the
was
fuck
kind
outta
of cool.
here.
Mirrors. How do they work?
Don't know.
What do you?
Shit.
What do you
I've
with the
never seen it.
ICP? Insane Clown Posse.
I know, I got it.
You know the Insane Clown Posse?
I do, yeah.
Oh, shit.
I'm a juggalo.
Juggalos in the house.
Woo! I'm not a juggalo, but I know that
damn.
word.
But I know the word.
Words. I know
I've seen her in her makeup.
We're done with the bar now, right?
We're done with the bar, yeah. The next thing that happens is that Supernatural and Jamie talk on the bridge.
Which
That's
is funny
true.
because you can't talk in the store. You definitely had to go talk on the bridge.
No. The store's probably bugged. We talked about this out of order. We go to the bar to the Dexter investigating den in the house. and then
what
he
it
says,
was.
if you talk to Supernatural, you better tell me. And then we cut to immediately her talking to Supernatural.
She's trying to get into
Oh
her
my God,
store.
she can't listen.
I
Yeah.
know.
The man told her what to do and she didn't listen.
But the man might be a killer.
Fucking
And also is cheating on her.
That's true. Yeah. The
Yeah.
amount of shame she gives him for talking to her ex-boyfriend
Yeah.
when he has gotten another woman pregnant.
Yeah.
It's ironic.
And he lives.
I know.
I
and she
hated
falls
that.
back in love.
Oh my God, I hated
I
that
know.
for reasons.
So then we talk on the talking bridge because you can't talk in stores.
Yeah, so that he meets her out front of the store and they go walk away
Yeah.
from the store on the bridge.
She never opened up the
Meanwhile,
grocery store.
all the
didn't.
customers are like, where's the
That's
fucking
the only
store?
grocery store in the whole county.
I know. My family's coming for Sunday dinner and I do not have a roast
And I do not have a roast.
and my seasoning.
What do they even
shit.
talk about on the bridge?
I don't know. Whatever
I don't
angsty
know.
bullshit
All
they
right,
keep
what's the
talking
next
about. Yeah.
But they talk on the bridge about some bullshit. Doesn't
They
matter.
keep having these scenes of like, don't you love your husband? No, you really love me. That's not what they're saying, but that's what all of this is
That's
about.
the emotional
Your
gist
husband's
of it.
actually the killer. I'm not the killer. Trust me. Yeah, it's a bunch of the same
Remember
conversation.
10 years
over and
ago
over
when
again.
we were having sex?
Sometimes it's on a bridge. Sometimes it's in a car. Sometimes it's in a grocery store.
So what happens after the bridge talkie scene?
Then Soups goes down into the mine.
Soups?
Supernatural.
God
Oh, so
damn.
Supernatural goes into the mine. Okay.
We're on first name basis. We're on
We are.
nickname basis now.
Oh yeah. This is when he gets trapped in the cage.
Oh, yes. He has to
Oh.
ride down
Does
with
he?
Johnny
Well, he
Kickass,
has
though.
to. He has to get permission to
Yeah.
go down there.
To
In
the
his
mind.
own fucking mind.
Yeah.
Keep that in.
Why
In
does, he
mine.
why does he want to go down the mine?
Because he owns it. He wants to just
But it is
what
a
rich
little
people
weird.
do.
It's like a power move.
It's
just
totally
want
a
to go
power
like
play.
pee all over it so everybody knows whose territory.
Just whips his dick out and goes, look
Do
at
you guys
this.
smell urine?
And then he traps him.
Whoa.
Sorry. He gets
We're
trapped in
going
the
to spoil
cage.
the movie. It's fine.
That's true. He traps himself in the cage, and then the killer comes up
But
to
you don't
him.
know that at the time, though. It just looks
Yes.
like he gets trapped in by a minor killer man.
By
Harry Warden.
Harry Warden.
Yeah,
Warden.
because the killer comes up and stares right at him with his mask.
That's true. It's a very sexy moment.
It
Yeah,
was.
It's very like mirror, you know. Yeah,
And I
that's
made
what
the
happened.
joke that
I
it
see
was
what you're doing.
Mino a Mino. And I was the only one that thought it was funny. But I'm going to say it again.
Still doesn't feel good. Still feels bad.
I just
Anyways, there's an epic fight scene. The only
Yes.
one good fight scene that we
Oh,
get.
yeah.
Because the guy who does die in the scene, who's just some random miner,
Yeah.
he gets the pickaxe through his arm and then starts kicking the dude's
Yeah,
ass.
he kickaxes with
It's
a pickaxe.
amazing.
It really is. Yeah, he almost kills the killer.
Yeah.
And then somehow the killer.
He gets the pickaxe away from the killer, and
Yeah.
the miner, the badass miner, swings it at
Killer man?
Supernatural is the killer, and then the Supernatural kicks it back up into his head.
Yeah, I said he got mind foot faced.
Oh God!
It just rolls right off the tongue, you know. Mind foot face.
Because, yeah, it bounces off his foot into his head. So he effectively is so powerful that he kills himself with that pickaxe. It's sad. 'Cause if-
What do you think? It's not. He didn't throw it at a trampoline. He threw it and it hit his foot. And like stayed on the foot, and then the guy just raises his foot up and it
his
hits him in
blow
the
was
face.
so
Rubber
powerful.
and your glue, whatever you say bounces.
It did. It bounced off the foot and glued back into
I'm
his
very
face.
concerned that you don't understand how physics work.
Bounces.
I know how feet work.
That was a good joke.
And do you bounce? Are you a bumble?
It's called jumping.
I am so mad right now.
So then all the miners come and bust him out of the cage because he's saying, "Oh, there's a killer!
And they're convinced he killed them
They did.
despite being locked in the cage.
yes, but he did kill them, so
Well, I
they
mean,
know
yeah,
what's
it's in
up.
the future, but at the time
Yes.
we don't know. It just seems
Yes.
ridiculous.
We're like, how could he possibly kill him? He was
Yeah.
locked in that cage. So then they
happened?
let him out. And then we have some Stitches talk in the hospital because
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got his dreamy cut on his shoulder. We see him without his 9
Chicks
jackets
dig
on.
scars.
They do, man.
And
Yes.
this is where the cop just magically appears from behind the
Oh,
curtain.
yeah.
Yes, he
gosh.
says, "I'm not selling the mine," and then cop goes, "Ooh."
How How fucking long was he back there?
He had conservatively 7 to 8 minutes
Ridiculous.
because this scene had been going on a while.
He had to be there though before they got there.
I know.
Like,
That's
he
what I'm
knew.
saying.
He knew.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Killed
So
him.
the sheriff pops out from behind the curtain and it's like, oh, so now you don't want to leave? You find a reason to stay, insinuating that his wife is now in love with the murderer, Supernatural.
Yeah.
And then the cop is talking to the old cop? No, he's talking to old Biff.
Yes.
And he's like, hey.
Should I tell him or should you tell him?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
And
then
then-
we find out a super convoluted story.
Yeah, and it's like that he did
Even
the
more
original
convoluted
murderer.
I know.
than what we currently have.
Yes.
Exactly. The original warden, the original minor murderer, did get away from the mine, but the next day, Biff and then Axel's dad and Supernatural's dad went and killed the minor
all the
guy
old man
and buried him.
Yeah.
Yes, all the old men in the town
even
went and
older
killed him.
man and slightly less young man. They all kill him and then bury him in a rock thing. So now they're all going to go dig up his grave to prove
Right.
that he's actually dead,
Right.
And that he's not a ghost killer. This whole thing is really stupid.
The only thing it does is when they go to the grave and dig him up, the body's gone.
Yes, the body's gone, but the helmet is still there, or the whatever mind mask is there.
No,
No.
we're there. At the,
Oh, no.
At the end, at the end, it gets dropped in.
That's right.
That was like
Yeah.
the most condescending no ever. Like, no.
Oh,
I love you.
Yeah, but you're wrong.
There is some dissension among the exes.
hey, that's okay.
The sexy exes
the sexy
are having
exes.
some
That's
trouble.
not, yeah.
They never dug up anything. They just got there and the rocks were moved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so much like the 12 apostles, when
I was
they
gonna-
did go to
gonna
the
say
grave
Easter
site,
Sunday.
the rock was moved. All I'm saying
Hey,
is
future
that
Todd.
this movie is an allegory for the resurrection.
Jesus was a minor.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah.
Jesus was a minor.
It's a little known fact. They changed it to carpenter around the middle 300th century.
Patriarchy did. So Jack questions. This is the Batman and the Joker scene where they're questioning
shit,
in
yeah.
the police
Oh,
academy.
yeah, they're in the police headquarters or whatever.
Yeah. Are you the super killer? I do an awesome Batman.
So Axel and Supernatural are like fighting over who is going to fuck his wife or whatever.
Yeah, like have you talked to her? I know you're really back in town because you want to fuck my wife. and then-
Supernatural goes, you know, she settled for you,
And then
right?
he fucking flips the table
Yeah, he
and like
punches them.
slams against the wall.
Shit was awesome.
But it's a very slow, not slow motion, but unbelievable fight.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Blue definitely threw the better punch.
Definitely. And you can tell that that table was heavier than Axel thought it was going to be. Because he's like, I got it.
He
yeah.
did pull a muscle.
It was
And then he
awesome.
like huffs and puffs over to like put him against the table.
He's real out of breath. But then Martin comes in and breaks everything up. Yeah, exactly. He just like Martin's up in there and breaks it up. And then he says something and they go to a
He
different
says
scene.
his informant said that he didn't actually kill the
informant.
people. No,
Oh, the mind
foreman.
foreman. Because I thought he said informant.
But
Yeah.
I think it's funny as
Me too.
an informant.
So what does the mine informant tell him?
that he's
Oh,
not,
that he was locked
he's
in the
not
cage.
killer, yeah.
And he couldn't be the killer. Red herring.
Duh.
Yeah. So what happens next?
Supernatural, I think, goes to the adultery house and finds the mouse chocolate.
So the
Thor.
rat is eating the chocolate.
Which is just a
Supernatural
weird,
opens
unnecessary
up the
scene.
box and he sees the note.
Oh, so
and
that
he
is
sees
how he
the
knows.
be mine or whatever. Be mine forever.
That ultimately is his undoing.
Yeah,
It is
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
And he was just coming home to like take a little
Gosh,
rest
if only
between killing.
other parts of the movie had, moments like that.
I know.
You mean had paid off in any way?
Yeah.
And making
That's
sense.
the only one.
Yeah, movie. Todd Trucker.
Hey,
calling
how
you
dare
out.
you besmirch Todd Farmer, the writer of Drive Angry?
So this is when old man Biff gets killed in his house.
Oh yeah,
He's just
Biff is like drunk
sleeping
as
next to
shit.
his
Yeah,
shotgun.
he's very drunk with a shotgun next to him. He didn't have it loaded.
He didn't. He
Proper
had,
gun safety. Proper gun
Originally,
safety.
he did not have
He
it
did
loaded.
not.
he had the
Yeah.
bullets locked away in his bathrobe pocket.
Locked
you do.
away.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
he
think
was
you know how
ready.
pockets
He
work.
was ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Except that he was shit faced.
Yeah.
He was.
Gets
I
him
mean,
out, pops him in.
Yeah.
Hears something.
Pointing at
goes outside.
shadows.
Yeah.
And it's the 3D gun. So if you're in the theater, it just looks like the gun's pointing at everyone
So
in the
dumb.
theater. Yeah.
So dumb.
And then he walks back. So he walks outside so he can let the killer into the house because when he comes back in, the killer is in the house and gets him from the hallway.
And kills him, yeah.
Yeah, he's dead. But then Martin comes up and tells
Martin!
Jack. that they found Biff's body, and we see Biff's body and his chest is all cut out.
Oh yeah, and he is not in his house. He got moved into the woods somewhere. Maybe right behind his house. But
He's in the rock grave.
And the almanac is
Oh,
gone.
he is. He's in the rock
he is in the
grave.
rock
He's in the
grave.
Harry
That's
Warren
right.
grave.
Damn,
Yeah.
Almanac.
Thank you, Todd. I was like, how is
that
the joke going to go
amazing.
flat on this group?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Oh my God, never mind. Well, Todd got it, and that's all that matters. And
Yeah.
literally everybody
Oh,
else listening.
The important people in the room got it.
right. The men folk got it.
Chromy homies.
Homies. Let's take it to 88 miles per hour and get back to the fucking future.
Yeah,
Nice.
let's do it.
All right, so now we got girls in the grocery store.
Ooh.
I like the sound of that. Girls in the grocery store. I was thinking that was like the name of the porno with inside of this movie. But
That's the
fine.
porno
I don't
that she
think-
starred in after this movie.
I don't think this movie needed a porno inside the movie. I think this movie was a porno with horror inside it.
Pornception.
Yeah.
It was
Pornception.
such a porn.
So Megan is mopping the floor like
Not very
over
well
and
either.
over again
No.
in this one tiny spot.
Yeah.
This is where Megan is like admitting to the wife that she's banging the husband,
How'd
that
you
banging
end up
Axel.
with Jack? Well, he's not there for you anymore. Yeah, she's about to tell him, and then the lights go off.
Yeah. Well, they hear a sound. They go looking.
Did you lock the front door?
All right,
Did
Dick,
I?
So dumb.
how could you not fall for that?
I know.
Right.
So then the lights start to go out.
They
Then
see
we
the miner.
Yeah, they see the miner, and he starts chasing them, and a bunch of stuff happens. He beats up wife by the.
They ultimately get inside the office
Megan
and bar the
smacks him
door.
with the mop, and then they run into the office.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's put the filing cabinet sideways.
and not
Yes.
straight up.
And
Make
not
it
straight up.
as
Yeah.
ineffective
Absolutely.
as we possibly can while
100%.
still pretending like we're actually doing something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he starts shining through the door.
Yeah, he's trying to jack through the door. That sounds sexual. He's shining. Let's go with what you said. Shining through the door.
I kind of like jacking through
Yeah,
the door.
yeah, but listen, I mean, it happens sometimes. So when you gotta go, you gotta go. So he's jacking through the door, and the two ladies are just in there screaming like, "Whatever shall we
Megan's
do?"
like, hey, there's this window.
yeah, Megan's thinking.
Yeah.
But we
She
don't have the
opens-
keys. Yeah, I thought somebody was going to get cut in half by that window. So she finally gets the keys, and it's taking a long time, and they're trying to get out, and so they finally get the window open.
And once they get the window open, the miner stops breaking to the door and leaves.
Yeah, and then
Megan-
simultaneously appears right behind Megan.
Oh yeah, and like grabs
halfway
her.
in, halfway out.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, and she gets pulled out.
And she goes quiet way too fast.
She
Like there's
really
no
does.
scream or anything that leads to her death. It's just she gets pulled out the window and no longer is
Then
talking.
Perhaps my favorite part happens next when Jamie King finds the emergency button.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. After
Oh, my
being in that
gosh.
room for conservatively 3 minutes, they were
Yes.
in that room trying to open the window. He was trying to jack down the
But it
door.
said do not touch.
It
so,
doesn't. Yes, and she
Yeah.
follows directions. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, she didn't get permission from a man to press the button.
A man had written
Truth.
"Do not touch" right there, so she
Actually,
didn't touch
it's
it.
her store. She probably wrote it.
That's true. She wears
Women can
pants in that
own
store.
businesses, Jen.
Oh my God, Jen, unbelievable.
Yeah, totally uncalled
I'm the
for.
terrible one.
Yeah.
Clearly.
No, but she does. When she goes out the window, you don't see the miner. You just see her getting pulled out. And for a second, I was like, is she going to end up being the killer? And she just like,
No.
no, but she doesn't.
But that I had
Because-
a similar thought because she just stopped screaming, and it's not like she's
Yeah.
like or
right.
anything.
We
Like
don't
she just
hear.
stopped screaming.
And we
She
don't,
accepts death like a badass.
She
She's like, I'm
does.
just going out.
and
Yeah,
we don't
it's my
actually
time.
see the miner pulling her either. But anyway, she's not the killer because then the Sheriff Jack shows up.
Who the
Axel.
fuck is Jack?
He's Jack from Dawson's Creek. I'll just start singing that song when he shows up. So he shows up,
pretty
and
rad.
this reminded me a lot of Scream, where there's been chaos, and then he suddenly shows up to save the day, and
Yes.
you wonder, why is he here so soon?
I mean, I thought at this point he might have been the guy.
Sirens, like-
Yeah, I did too.
He might have been the murderer.
Like that you just compared this to Scream.
Oh, no. It
no,
definitely was.
it's too late. It's there.
No, I'll say this. Everyone slips and falls in this movie, so it's
That's
Scream
true.
on some level.
Well,
on
that-
nothing.
It was
There
trying.
is nothing to trip on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then they go around to check on Megan because they're like, she was right here. She's
Right,
right,
right.
here.
And then they
it has
see.
the Be Mine Forever. Or was it? Is that what
Yeah,
it
something like
said?
that.
Be Mine Forever, which is what, with a 4, which is what was in the Valentine that she wrote.
Verbatim.
Axel. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. And she's there with her heart cut open.
You gotta
lit.
think Jack from Dawson's Creek, which is one of my favorite characters from Dawson's Creek, that when he saw her dead on some level, he was like, oh, thank fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, he definitely was.
It did kind of solve some problems.
That's why I
for him.
thought
Dodged
so.
the bullet.
So I thought it was him. I thought he was the murderer at this
I
point
did
because
too. Yes.
she was the only character that was not in the original mine party scene where everyone was dead, but he did sort of have a motive to get her
He
out of
did
the
have a
picture.
motive.
So I thought maybe that's why she died.
Right.
Would have made a better movie.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
But set a bad precedent for if you get your side chick pregnant.
Oh, yeah. We're not saying
would've
that
made
she
more
should have
sense.
died. Then we go to, this was a hard thing to write down because there's so many different things that happen. So I missed a couple of things and some of it just didn't make sense.
It is sort of like everything happens, but also nothing happens.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so what happens?
So
next?
then they go to the cop's house and we see the babysitter and the son, who the creepy evil son.
The
And this,
nicest house in the world for a cop.
Oh yeah, he's embezzling state funds for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, she owns that grocery store too.
Oh, she might actually make a good amount of money.
Yeah.
Especially if she corners the market on grocery and grocery needs.
That's true.
In Harmony County.
Yeah.
And the housekeeper is a minority.
Oh, and she gets dried up quick. And it's about to happen because the murderer comes in, kills her.
Lady deputy cop is sitting out in front of the house too.
Reading the newspaper very slowly.
She's not very smart, guys. Come on.
She was only looking at the pictures on the front page.
She was.
Yeah, she tried to piece it out.
Above
I
the
wish I had
fold.
learned to
Couldn't even
read.
make it below the fold at that
Yeah.
point. Yep.
So then we see creepy kid watching creepy cartoon and he's hiding and deputy lady walks in and she finds creepy kid crawling around being creepy.
Which is Jack from Dawson's Creek's son.
And so then old retired sheriff is on the front porch because he's too scared to go in because he doesn't have a flashlight.
Yeah. Why did
my
he even
God.
show up?
He's trying to have his fucking Loomis
clear.
moment.
He is, yeah, but he's too afraid to have the Loomis moment, so he gets pickaxed.
It's a very pointless moment.
It is, yeah. So he goes up and he finds over the end of the railing.
Can
he
I
sees
say this real quick? I'm so sorry to cut you off. Lady cop's inside the well-lit house with a flashlight.
That's true.
Old retired cop is outside in the dark without a flashlight.
Yep.
I'm just saying the flashlight to unflashlighted ratio is out of congruity.
I know.
here.
Did he ask to share her flashlight, do you think?
No, because listen, he's trying to empower her as a woman and just make sure she has everything he
He's
needs.
an ally.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. It's hard to hold your gun when you don't have a flashlight propping it up, too.
That's what
Which we learn.
That's what I've learned.
Because,
in this
yeah,
movie.
I mean, he
Yeah.
does die right here.
I mean, he could, if he really wanted to see that bad, he could have taken that miner helmet and just put it on and turned the light on.
Okay, did you guys notice this? So the miner helmet was positioned down there, right?
Right.
He turns back around. The miner has the helmet back on his head.
That's true.
Yeah. So he either had two helmets
Which
or
is-
it's
I mean,
a
he
bad
did
fucking
own
movie.
the mine.
I think
one or the
he
other.
had two helmets. He's been planning this particular
yeah.
kill for a hot minute.
Well, he
He's
has.
like,
He
thank fucking God.
Owns the mine.
He does have access to mine and mine accessories.
Yeah.
Retired sheriff gets axed.
Yeah, he gets it.
It's like the worst children's.
Shark.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's the worst children's
But it can't
song.
be
of
that
all
He
time.
fast.
retired
because-
shark. So we retired sharks. Sorry, go ahead.
AARP shark. Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going.
So then we find the babysitter's head in the dryer, and then old sheriff gets hacked.
See, I feel like it was like an entire
yeah.
body, which didn't make any sense.
It may have been her entire body.
I think it was, and her
but
head just falls out.
Yeah, because you just see the head falling out.
Yeah. A whole lot.
Also, we didn't see her body, so where would he have put the body?
In the dryer.
In
I think
the
maybe
dryer.
I think
maybe
it's just
the body was
spinning.
in the washer.
The whole body's in the dryer. But none of that matters.
I'm not exactly sure how this happens, but wife
one
ends
is.
up in the car with Supernatural, and husband's talking to her on the phone and saying, "Dude's been in a mental
Yeah, how the fuck
institution."
did she get in that car?
Because I think he said, "I have to show you something,"
Yeah.
and she just went with him.
Ladies, if anyone from your past, like if an ex-boyfriend from high school shows up or sends you a message on Facebook or whatever and says, I have to show you something, that something's gonna be a dick.
Dick
Yeah.
pic is
It's
imminent.
100% gonna be a dick. Just block that person.
Don't do
get
it.
in their car.
Don't go to Murder Tree with
Yeah,
them.
never go to a second location with an ex. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Maybe you're into it. Maybe you've had a couple of
I
drinks.
mean, you never know.
Maybe you got a couple drinks in you. You know, you're reaching out through Facebook's DMs.
You're curious.
You're like, hey, you should do the Blair
curious.
Witch Project.
All right, so this is a little bit confusing because Supernatural and Jamie King are talking about how her husband's the killer, Jack from Dawson's Creek, and then Jack calls her and talks to her about Supernatural, who's in the car with her, is
Who to
the killer.
believe?
I know, and it just is. So at this point, she wants to be Kelly from 90210 and just choose herself and bone the fuck out from these two assholes.
But then she
So-
lies to Supernatural, says that she was talking to her mom.
This is when we get the only real moment of the whole movie where Dawson Creek guy just immediately gives up on the movie like the audience. He goes,
Oh,
just
yeah.
fucking shoot me.
Yes, we're not quite there yet, but
Oh,
I
you're not
feel
there
like
yet?
we're
No,
we're
so
not.
I'm
She
there.
hasn't grabbed.
I am
I
mentally
know,
there.
dude.
We're
Just
not
fucking
in
shoot
the
me.
mine
Because
yet.
she grabs the wheel and she steers them off.
yeah,
when
She
the
the
becomes
fucking
police-
thing.
Jesus and takes the wheel.
Oh, Carrie Underwood's up in this bitch.
Yeah. And then wrecks the car.
Oh no!
We get a tree boner through the
coming
front
through
and back
the
windshield.
window.
And then she takes off running through the woods.
To the mining. She goes to the mine. Yeah.
She goes to the third murder location.
And this is where we see her running through the mine house, right?
And she tells
Mine
Jack,
house? That's not
she
right.
calls her husband Jack and says where she is too. So that's how. And
Yeah.
so then he turns around in the woods to go
Yeah,
get
why
her.
was he driving the wrong fucking direction all
Does
the
she
time? Anyways,
first
where was he
stop at
going?
the-
He wants
sex
them to just
shack?
shoot him, so he's just trying to get out
She
of town.
first
guess
stops at
the
the
fuck.
house, doesn't
She does. Oh, she stops at the sex
because
shack.
she like is she like finds a knife. I remember that at one point,
Yeah.
and then she finds all of the Valentine boxes.
And then she finds the Valentine from her husband, and
Yeah.
she knows exactly because they put so much
Axel,
information on there.
Megan, Be Mine Forever, all
Yes,
that crap.
definitely having an affair. Okay, so then after she goes to the sex shack, now she goes to the mine.
Well, she gets chased. She gets chased
she
out of the
gets-
sex shack by, find out later, supernatural.
I mean,
but
she's
dressed as the miner.
breaking and entering into his own house. So, but then they go to the mine, and she can't get the door open for long enough for him to catch up to her, almost. And then
Yeah, she tries one door for literally 3 minutes and then just runs through another door and it's unlocked.
So then she fights with the killer, and she finds all the minor clothes in the dry cleaning thing where she's walking around and they
dropping.
keep
They just keep
dropping
dropping.
around. Yeah, it's
Weird.
And then he
very
pops
weird.
out from behind one of them and they start fighting.
It's
Yeah.
the worst fun house of all time.
It really is. I was thinking for a while, is it like firefighter clothes where they have to be ready to put their minor gear on at a moment's
No.
notice so it drops?
It's not like
Brings
that at
down
all.
on you. Some
No.
fucking jets and shit where it
Can't
just
imagine
dresses
that
you.
ever, like really need to get dressed that quickly as a minor.
Like you might need to get out of the mine really quick, but not into the
Yeah, but you can just wear your clothes out of the mine like this minor murderer has been doing the entire movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, she goes from the dry cleaning room to the mine itself. What I'll
Yes.
call mine proper. Tunnel number 5.
a little bit of mine. Okay, so then Axel.
Just to
I
herself.
love it. That was amazing. But yeah, so Axel runs in. We've got Axel and we've got now Supernatural not dressed as the miner.
Yes.
And Ladyface, what's her name?
He's like one of those
Sarah's
fucking
the
quick change
character.
artists.
Yeah.
Jamie King.
Yeah, I mean, Supernatural does have more costume changes than a Weird Al concert.
Because he's got all 9 of those jackets on, you know.
That's what it
I
is.
mean, those minor overalls have to be installed with Velcro for him to be pulling them on and off.
He was wearing enough jackets that he could have been wearing the minor
true.
costume
That
the
is
whole
true.
time.
Yeah.
It could have been underneath.
Like
just
those
has
quick
the-
change artists, he just throwing confetti up in the air and he just like changes real quick. They're like, oh my God.
Tearaway hoodies.
Yeah.
I only
so
wear
then-
tearaway pants.
It's true, sadly.
Sexy.
Sitting here with no pants on.
Let's say Todd does not have pants on currently, so I don't know what he's talking about.
I have
It
a
is
very
the
long
Valentine's
shirt
Day episode. Some would call it a dress.
with a tasteful belt around my waist section and heels.
Or are they platforms?
Well,
Crappy platform.
at least I'm not naked.
That's true.
Yeah.
After shooting Todd Farmer,
He does have a merkin on.
the writer.
Yeah, at least Todd is wearing a merkin. Like a gentleman.
Exactly. He's
Because I'm
classy.
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 My merkin has a monocle. All right. Wait. I said that they were all together. They're not all together because Sarah, Axel's wife, is in the mine and Axel runs in.
And
So we
actually-
don't see Supernatural yet. Because there's a struggle between Axel and his wife, and Axel's wife gets the gun.
Yeah, and this is when he's confronting her because she thinks he's the killer now because she knows that he's had an affair with her.
And that Megan was pregnant. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
And he's got a shit ton of Valentine's boxes.
exactly. I found all your Valentine's and your Valentine's boxes.
So she has the gun on him.
yes.
And then that's when Supernatural walks in, but now not dressed as the miner.
Yes. Wearing his 7 jackets.
Right.
And-
then they start arguing over who she should shoot. And then that's when Axel's just like feeling how we feel. We're like, fuck it, just shoot both of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
Just
is the
end
worst.
this.
I hate you.
It
That's why I
is.
was cheating on you. I hate him because he's a fucker. Shoot both of us.
Is this also when we finally find out from Minor Dude the Be Mine Forever, and they're like, how did you know that?
Yes, that's how
Yes.
she realizes that he is
There
the
we
killer,
go.
right?
Okay.
Yes.
And then right after that reveal, after Axel King Solomon's, and then he reveals that he knew more than he should have, that's when Supernatural starts to
He's right behind
hallucinate the
you.
miner.
Right behind you.
Yeah.
And then the miner walks up right in front of him in
Yeah.
the worst acting I've ever seen since
It
the
is.
first time I watched and the last time I watched Supernatural. and
And the rest of this movie.
yes, oh my God.
Yeah, because he is seeing the miner come up right into his face, and we keep seeing Axel say, no, nothing's there. Keep your gun on him.
Yeah.
And so then we realize that.
And he's right, nothing is there.
Exactly, because as soon as he gets right up to Supernatural, the miner disappears. And then we see the montage of how Supernatural has set read all of these scenes and done all the stuff
And
behind
has
the scenes.
been the minor killer the whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we don't see why he uses all these goddamn Valentine's boxes. What a
I
dumb
know,
babe.
Really
He sends like
is the
2 of them.
weirdest.
There is no connection to Valentine's.
Where did
At
he
all.
get
Yeah.
those?
Other than just taking hearts out.
Yeah,
It's a really bad shtick.
it is
It is.
It's just not good.
So Axel and Supernatural
Actually-
start fighting, and the wife will not shoot. She is waiting forever, and then eventually the minor or Supernatural hits Axel in the stomach with the
Yes.
pickaxe.
And she's just going to see how it plays out because she's kind of annoyed with her husband.
yeah, she's like, he was cheating. I mean, I don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
She's going to take
Whoever
whichever one
wins.
wins. Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah, whoever wins this fight, I'll shoot, and then I'll be free from all of them.
Exactly.
So
yes.
dumb.
She chooses herself. So then he
As
gets
she
pickaxed.
should have done during Women of Horror Month.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't need no man.
Yeah.
I'll live off this fucker's pension for cheating on me, and I never loved him.
Exactly. Yeah. And he tried to kill me a bunch of
Yeah.
times. Yeah.
She would be justified in killing both of them.
Yes.
It's true.
Well, ladies, if your husband's cheating on you, don't kill him. Just divorce him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because you don't want to end up in jail, too.
Or
But, yeah.
find a minor to kill him for you.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah. You can allow.
ER.
And by
ER.
minor, he doesn't mean someone who works in a mine. He means someone who's under 18 so they don't go to jail for the rest
That's
of their
right.
life.
As long as they
get out
work
when
in your
they're 18.
grocery store, it's
Right.
okay.
All right, whatever.
So then he gets pickaxe to the stomach and they hide in the invisibility closet or the invisibility corner.
The invisibility
So-
wall for sure.
Yes.
He takes that pickaxe like a champ, too. Doesn't seem to phase him that much.
I know. And there's not even a hole in his shirt.
No, that shirt is super tough.
He honestly holds his stomach like yesterday was ab day. Like that's how he holds his stomach. Like
Well,
not
he's
like
been
he
doing
just
a
got,
lot of running. He's like, oh, side split.
not that he just took 9 inches of cold pickaxe steel to his abdomen.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I blasted my core yesterday, guys.
Yeah. And so then they're hiding in the little corner and he says, you've only got one shot left. You got to make it count. So she stands up and she says, hey, minor or something. And she like gets his attention.
Some catchy shit.
Yeah, and then she 3D slow motion shoots the bullet, and it goes through his side, I think.
Yeah, through his side.
And then into it's like the Jaws ending because it hits right at the part of the tank where it makes the tank explode.
Right.
And
Is that
then,
how Jaws ends?
A big fire explosion.
I've never
Spoiler!
seen Jaws.
I mean, there's
Don't
a shark
worry.
involved, so it's a little bit different. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's some stuff. That's
Well, they're
Same,
probably, what
but
is it,
different.
scuba tanks or something?
Can't say. But big fire explosion that does not
yes,
burn him
it
in the
doesn't
end.
burn him, but it fire throws him against the wall
It
of
does
the
throw
cave.
him. Not a single hair on his head is singed.
No.
No.
Except he's got that one like classy hot cut on his forehead,
but
so
that
you
was from
know
something
he's
else.
yeah, and he's lying under a bunch of rocks. Oh, did we talk about how every time he would smash one of the lights, he would flash to the pickaxe?
Oh, we
thing?
didn't, but that was horrible. So we see them like going into the tunnel, and by them I mean like rescuers.
Yeah, but they all look like the miners.
They all do. They're all going into the tunnel, and one of them finds Supernatural.
Yes.
And then gets got through the eye.
Got through the eye.
And now you're dead.
So yeah, it gets into.
Yeah, so we see it go in his eye or whatever. And then it cuts to outside the mine. We see Sarah, the wife, and we see Axel being taken out in an ambulance. And then
Yes.
we see a miner like limping along.
Yeah, wearing that. Now, this miner was wearing a red costume too.
Yes.
The rescue miners are wearing red, and so this miner that's limping is wearing red too. And then
Looking totally normal, by the way.
right. Well,
Not even
and he just passes the ambulance by feet.
Yeah, he's like
and
100
then
feet
decides
outside
he
of it.
just can't handle the mask anymore, and
The
getting
mask he's
caught
been
be
wearing the
damned.
whole
the
movie.
whole movie.
So he takes it off and doesn't get
reveal
caught.
what?
That he's supernatural and still evil because he's got a little smirk. at
It's
the end.
still evil.
To reveal that they think they're getting a sequel.
exactly.
But they don't. And that's the movie.
And that's the movie.
Thank you. So let's talk box office. The production budget of this was $15 million.
You already
God.
told me I'm about to be disappointed.
Yeah,
with
you
the
guys
rest
are
of it.
about to be real mad. How much do you think this
Yeah.
movie made,
I'm gonna
guys?
go with 87.
Okay.
Too much. I don't know.
So this movie made $51 million domestically,
Okay, that actually makes me feel a little
$49 million overseas. So it
God damn.
just got over $100 million. So on $15 million, and they probably spent about that to promote it, they still made a shitload of money on this movie, which makes me so mad because this movie is horrible.
Who do I blame overseas for this? Do I blame
No,
the
it did
Chinese?
better domestically than overseas.
I imagine that
damn it.
people that like horror saw My Bloody Valentine 3D, wanted to have like a Valentine's date weekend, and went to see it in
guess
theaters.
That's where the kitch is and the
Yes.
wanting to see this.
I think
That's
so,
why
too.
I wanted
Yeah.
to see it. And
It
then
came
I
out
watched
January
it.
16th.
Yeah, and then I watched it and realized how bad it was. But people probably went to see it before they read
I mean,
any
how many
reviews.
horror movies are really done in 3D? Is that like a common thing? I don't think it is.
Too many.
Yeah.
Even if it's just this one, too many.
This was the #1 movie the weekend it came out.
That's not the stats
What
that I
else?
have.
Ooh,
I have that it was the
contention.
number 3.
Oh, no.
And then
Sorry.
it got beat by.
Yeah, it got
you
beat
have
by Gran Torino and Paul Blart Mall Cop. Yeah.
I walked out
Understandable.
of Paul Blart
Understandable.
Mall
Did
Cop.
you?
I did.
That
I
is the
asked-
right response.
I
How
asked for my
dare
money
you?
back.
All right, so that's all I have for box office. Jen, do you have some fun facts for
I
us?
have a couple of fun facts.
Nice.
Correct.
We've already talked a lot about Frank the trucker.
Yes.
Who is Todd
Farmer.
Todd Farmer, pardon
The
me.
writer of Jason X, The Messengers 2, Drive Angry. I've
hard to
memorized way too much of this guy's career already.
Well, okay, so there's a part in the credits that I kept trying to look for, and then I realized how long the credits were going to go. But it says, special thanks to Melanie Farmer, which I assume is his wife, for letting us get Todd naked.
Oh.
It's like, oh, okay.
Sure.
Not
I feel,
our Todd from the podcast, Todd from the movie.
I feel like
He's got a merkin
Todd
on.
put that in himself
smirking positive.
to smooth over with his
right?
wife that he wrote himself as
As the-
Swanky's sex scene.
Listen, hun, I don't want to be the guy she's fucking in the scene. Just nobody's willing to do it.
Everyone else
Exactly.
said no, and we really
It's like
were on a
for
budget.
budget
here.
reasons that they
Right.
need me to be the one she's writing solid the whole time.
It's for my art.
I don't even want to do it. Like, I don't even think she's attractive.
I mean, it's a long scene, yeah, but I mean, it's just the way somebody wrote it.
You think she forgave him for that because he put that thing in the credits?
I don't care.
I don't either. Okay, so this got mid to actually not bad reviews.
Really?
I just don't understand that.
I know.
Have you seen some of the movies people like?
Yeah, that's true. So, and this is like almost so bad it's good, not quite.
No.
I will say it is so bad, but it's not over the threshold of being so bad it's good.
Well,
They
it's
have like
not
a
worth
5.5 on IMDb or something
It's
like that.
right around the middle.
Gross.
Yeah.
One of my favorite
Gross.
reviews that I saw was it's just good enough to not be annoying. And I don't think I
Holy
agree with
I
that
don't agree
because
with
it
that.
did really annoy me. And I
It's-
wanted all the characters
It's
to
nothing but
die.
Supernatural fans going on and being like, this shit's amazing. The best
Exactly.
acting I've ever seen.
You know what? That's probably it.
No,
and that's
yeah.
probably a lot of who went to see this
Because
movie.
they're fucking crazy.
Yeah, if you live on CW, you'd probably like this movie on some level.
Oh, yeah. Or you're like 17 or 18 and you just want to do something for the
Yeah,
weekend.
shots fired.
Okay, my last fun fact is that this took place on Saturday the 14th, which means the day before was Friday the 13th.
This movie takes place on Valentine's Day.
Right, which is the 14th. And it's a Saturday.
Saturday in the movie.
So in movie universe, it was
Yes.
Friday the 13th.
Who
day
gives a fuck?
I do. I like Friday the 13th.
So
Apparently
fucking
Todd Farmer
stupid.
did and thought he was super fucking clever.
He did, yeah.
I mean, his first writing credit is Jason X.
you should have stopped.
was
yeah.
this before Jason
Hard
X?
stop.
I guess
This is
so.
way after Jason X. Jason X was 2001.
Well, maybe that
and
was
then
a
he
little
wrote
shout-out.
Messengers in 2007. Then this in 2009. Then Messengers 2,
When did he write Drive Angry, Todd?
2011. I didn't realize there was going to be a test on the Todd Farmer IMDb page.
That's all my fun facts.
Awesome. Thank you for your fun facts, Jen. Let's
You're
talk
welcome.
scary scales. So,
Scary
Jen,
scale.
what is the scary scale?
Hey, listeners, our scary scale is how we rank how scared we were when we watched this movie. It's not a ranking of the quality of the movie. It's a ranking of how scared we were today when we watched it. Our 1 example is Ghostbusters, and our 10 example is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I have a suspicion that this is going to be a 4-way tie. But, Todd, what are you going to give this?
Are we going to give it a scary scale based on how bad the acting was or how scared we were while watching the movie?
I mean, I think that we could make a case for the acting is scary.
Okay, so I was not scared at all. So I would say 1 for scary scale. But
Okay.
the acting is scary on a very visceral level. And I would give it like a 9
It
for
just
that.
made me scared for the rest of their careers.
So bad.
Yeah,
Have those?
Supernatural's still on.
that's true.
It's unbelievable.
Did not get Supernatural
How many
canceled.
years can you rip off the Brothers Grimm?
Apparently 13.
A lot. All right, so Jacob, what do you give the scary
Oh,
scale?
it's definitely got to be a 1. But
Yeah.
I will agree that if we're going on acting and or just storytelling, it is
yeah.
absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
How
this-
many different people it had to pass through? You know, how
Yeah.
many?
I don't think
okays
it did.
had
I
to
think
get.
it went through Todd and it stopped.
Not me,
"This is
Todd.
great."
Todd Farmer.
Not- yeah,
Todd
not
Farmer,
Mark
the
and Todd.
director and writer of Drive Angry. So Jacob gives it a 1. Emily, what do you give it?
See, you know what's sad is I hate giving it a 1 just because Ghostbusters is what you've equated ones to, and Ghostbusters is good. And I realize this is not the quality of the
Right.
movie;
Right.
it's the scary scale. This is the absolute bottom
Yeah.
of scary for
Yeah.
me.
I'll put a 1 with extra animosity.
Absolutely.
Put a star next to that
I
one.
will. Yeah, asterisk 1. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 1 too. Not
With or
scary.
without the asterisk, though.
Without the asterisk.
Okay, nice.
No Barry Bonds on that one.
I would not recommend you watch this. If you
wouldn't
haven't seen
either.
this
No
and you're
need.
listening to the episode, first off, thank you so much for trusting enough to listen to the episode without watching the movie. But do not watch the movie. It's bad.
There's probably some kind of YouTube cut like we found with Jack Frost.
No, and yeah, maybe. But there's nothing worth watching in this. Even the nudity is
isn't.
bad. It's bad and weird. And there's
yeah.
something very aggressive about full frontal nudity. I'll say women full frontal isn't as aggressive as men full frontal because with men full frontal, you have like the snake looking you in the face. But it was just weird. I didn't like it. It wasn't
I
really
didn't
good
either.
nudity.
It makes me really uncomfortable
Yeah.
that she's just running around naked this whole
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out. It
Not
wasn't
that I
sexy
think there's
nudity.
anything
There was
wrong
no
with
point
it.
to the story to have
Yeah.
that.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
she
And it
could have
wasn't-
easily put on a bathroom.
Let this lady live her life.
That's true.
Oh my
and
God.
she can do whatever she wants to do. That's a choice that she's
She was
allowed
very
to make.
proud.
It just made me really uncomfortable.
Well, that's on you, Jen. That
I
is
know.
not this lady's fault.
That's my choice to make. All right, so that's our movie.
Yes. What are we watching next week,
Okay,
Jen?
so next week, this is our second listener request.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we asked for movies with strong female characters, and what won was It Follows.
Yeah, Patreon delivered.
Yes, thank you, patrons. Yeah, It Follows is going to be our listener request, and I'm really excited because I really love this
I heard a
movie.
lot about this movie when it first came out, so I'm sort of excited to see if it's as bad as I think the premise is. And I did watch the trailer for this on Patreon, and it looked really dumb. So we'll
Really?
see.
I don't think it's a dumb movie. I'm going to be interested to hear what you have to say about
I
it.
haven't seen it, so it might be
Yeah.
an opus masterpiece on an epic scale, but I think it looked real dumb. The premise looked real dumb.
Our opus scale maybe will be
It looked like it was Syphilis the movie.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
Syphilis is terrifying if you
but I
know.
haven't seen it. Yeah.
So next week is It Follows.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you
watch
so
It
much,
Follows. And guys,
patrons.
if you want to get in on the Patreon listener requests, just go to patreon.com/horrorvirgin.
I've already got a fun idea for our March listener
Oh,
request.
all right.
I
Well,
know.
join the Patreon
Thinking
and check that
ahead.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And we are, of course, a member of the Modern Horrors Podcast Network. And
Yes.
if you need any more information about Modern Horrors, talk to Jacob, our
Yeah.
guest. He is
right.
half of the Modern Horrors.
Do you want to talk about God Country?
Oh, yeah. Please tell me everything about the movie you guys are making.
We've talked about it before on this very podcast
yeah.
a little bit. There will be some crowdfunding, some money begging coming up here soon. So you can go to Modern Horrors and find all that information. Follow Modern Horrors on all the social medias, or even God Country, which now has its own Facebook, Twitter.
Is it at God
yada, yada.
Country?
It's at God Country, or you
Facebook,
know,
Twitter, Instagram?
yeah,
At God
that
Country.
whole thing. Yeah. If not, type in something of that nature and you'll find it.
Yeah. If you
It's
just
there.
Google God Country.
Yeah. You'll see this rad image of a Bible wrapped in
dude.
razor wire, so you know it's gonna be gnarly.
I saw the teaser you guys did a while ago, and
Yes.
it looks like I will hate it.
Yeah.
Yes. Ideally, Todd, you will not be happy about this film, and that's
But
kind of what
Jay,
we're going for.
I think it was Luke told me the premise of it. It may have been
Yes.
you. I can't.
Probably.
It was a while ago we talked about it, but the premise of it sounded really good. I don't want to go into it because I don't think you guys have released it yet.
Well, a little bit. We went into a little bit, but I guess
yeah.
I'll save it now for the crowdfunding.
Sure,
thing,
sure.
So you can be a
But
little
it-
surprised by it.
But sort of like The Collector, I hated The Collector, but I love the premise. I
Right.
feel like your movie God Country will be a lot along those lines.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
agreed.
trying to push some buttons, and it's not going to be for everybody, but that's kind of the point.
That's
I
what
don't
horror
think
should
any
be.
horror movies are for me. So I get that.
that's right. So.
Emily, you want to plug anything?
And if you need to know more about God Country, you can also look at modernhorrors.com.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Good work. Good work. Good work.
Yeah.
Didn't train her at all to say that.
Oh,
It was really fun to have a real life couple on
It
our
really was.
No.
Valentine's
We
Day
even played
episode.
nice. We even played
Yeah.
nice.
We
You guys
did.
did
I
great.
know.
Chromie homies and sexy X's.
That's right. I think Sexy Xy's won.
We'll let the fans decide.
Hashtag Sexy Xy's.
I mean, and honestly, last week with Happy Death Day, it was a couple
That's right.
episodes too
Yeah,
because the
Corey was on
Podfather
it.
was on that episode.
Nice.
If you want to follow Jen, go to @JenFerratu at Instagram and Twitter, right? And I am at Tajay Awesome on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And honestly, Mikey at MRandolph24, who did not join us for this
Yeah.
because we had scheduled this before he officially joined.
He'll be
And
back next week.
He did agree to step away, but under protest. He was not super happy about it.
He just
but
really
he will
wanted
be
to watch
back.
Happy Death Day. He's a huge Happy Death Day head.
Yeah, he will be back next week. Don't worry, guys.
He will, yeah.
If you want to go to our website, it's horrorvirgin.com. Jen writes a great blog.
I
It's up
do.
there.
And we're featuring a lot of those blog posts for Women in Horror Month
Yes.
because I tend to write a lot about women women in horror just anyways.
Well, because you are a woman in horror.
That's true. Yeah. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, there's cool stuff there. Merch is there.
Yeah, merch is there. If you want to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/horrorversion. I feel like I've said that a few times, but check it out.
There's lots of really good content on Patreon.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
watch all the trailers. I've put up other video. There's like a bunch of stuff up there.
Yeah, it's
and
fun
honestly,
times.
if you have any thoughts on what you guys might want to see on the Patreon, let us know. We're open to it.
Right.
Oh, the live show is up there.
So that's going to be it from us, everybody. Thank you so much, Hopkins Eye.
The Hop
Here we
Guy.
are.
Yeah.
For
I don't
joining
know
us.
how you pluralize that, but yes.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
Hopkins is-
I'm Jen.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye. Nerds.